Hello and welcome to another video on the discussion we had last time. In the last video, we talked about carbon credit. I use examples, scenarios, among others, to explain to you to enable you to understand the term carbon credit. Now, when we say carbon footprint, what exactly does it mean? The total amount of greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide, that an individual releases into the atmosphere or into the environment is what we call carbon footprint. And mostly we concentrate on carbon dioxide. So the total amount of greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide, that you or I release into the environment is carbon footprint. So basically, that is carbon footprint. So we release these gases into the atmosphere as a result of our activities. Example number one: imagine you leave your lights on when you are not in your room, or you use a lot of electricity for your gadgets. The more energy you use, the more carbon dioxide is often released into the environment. That is example number one. If you switch to energy efficient light bulbs, or turn off appliances or gadgets when not in use, and use renewable energy like solar or wind power, you can reduce your carbon footprint. So under the energy usage, I gave you one example and I gave you one scenario. Let's go to the next point I mentioned. Three things, remember. Transportation. Now, example under the transportation. Consider how you travel or you get around. If you are driving a car, you are likely to use petroleum products. These emit carbon dioxide. The same goes for flying in planes or even taking a bus. Now, scenario: opting for public transport or opting for public transportation, biking or walking are ways to lower your carbon footprint. So electric or hybrid cars to produce fewer emissions. So it means that if you opt for public transportation, you decide to bike, you decide to walk, you are going to reduce your carbon footprint. Or if you use electric cars or even hybrid cars, you are going to produce fewer emission. Now let's go to food choices. The food we eat has carbon footprint. For instance, producing and transporting red meat typically generates more emissions compared to vegetables and grain. Example number one under food choices. Now, let me give you a scenario. Choosing locally sourced and seasonal food and incorporating more plant-based meals into your diet can help you reduce your carbon footprint associated with food. Waste management. Let's look at another point here in addition to the three that I mentioned. For instance, example number one under waste management. For instance, landfills produce methane, and methane is a potent greenhouse gas. So the more waste we produce, the higher our carbon footprint. Scenario under the waste management. So by practicing recycling, composting, and reducing single-use plastics, you contribute to lowering your carbon footprint associated with waste. Let me add another one, which is consumer choices. Example under the consumer choices. Every product that we buy has carbon footprint associated with its production, packaging, and transportation. Now, scenario: opting for products with minimal packaging and buying locally made items can contribute to a smaller carbon footprint. Remember, I mentioned the first three items: energy usage, transportation, and food choices. I went on to add waste management and then consumer choices. So if we want to reduce our carbon footprint, we must be mindful of these five things that I mentioned. In my next video, I would explain to you how to calculate your carbon footprint. You would be able to know how much you are contributing every day. You will be able to know how much your power consumption is contributing to carbon emission. You don't need to go to any scientist anywhere. You can sit down in your room and do the calculation, and you will be able to reduce your carbon footprint. Thank you so much for watching. I will be glad. Go to my YouTube page, subscribe, go to my TikTok, follow me, and then go to my Twitter handle and then follow me. Thank you so much and goodbye.